The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, St. Jude Classic. Picks, preview, bets, one and done. We got it all coming for you. U.S. Open, obviously, next week. So starting on Thursday, we're going to have U.S. Open full field preview. The giant DraftKings show drops on Friday. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to have everything for you. DraftKings Millionaire Maker ownership projections. Myself, Fienberg, and Lacoste will be back on Monday to finalize our picks, give you some props, and then a live chat come Wednesday. So very similar to what happened at the Masters, going to be happening at the U.S. Open. Maybe we get a live cut sweat show in. We'll see. But for now, it's St. Jude Classic, and Geoff Fienberg is here. What's up?
What's going on, Pat?
People missed the show last week, and because they missed the show so much, everyone won money, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like there was a lot of people on Bryson. I'd have jumped off a ledge if Stanley won.
Yeah, well, you had Ann and Bryson.
And Bryson and Cantley were on the pack, and you know what's funny is I was making a live bet, and whoever I wanted to bet, they caught me and they lowered the number, so I was like, shit, all right, fine, this money is going to go on Ann. And then he was there Sunday night, so that was luckily timed. And you, my friend, got away with it again. I want to say for the second time this year in not following the Pat Mayo golf rule on Cantley's number.
Well, I didn't. The thing is, I put in 10. I bet 5 guys and let it. Somehow, one of them wasn't Bryson, despite betting Bryson every event this year, which is just horrible. But I don't know, man. Can Cantley not close?
It's an issue. That's twice. Genesis and I don't even know if they call it Genesis anymore.
Yeah, Genesis Memorial. But I didn't see him. I watched most of the Saturday. I was away for the weekend. I got away for 10 days. Somehow I ended up more tired now than I was the entire time. Bad move for a vacation. Having the bachelor party at the end is always rough. Bachelor party this weekend too. We'll talk about fun bachelor party places at the end of the show if you want to check the time code. But before we get into any of that, I do want to give a shout out to a guy. His name is CJ Bedford. He has 2 tweets of all ever. One of them was from I think it was the week that I think it was the Heritage Week when I won all the bucks. He tweeted me he won 10 grand that week on DraftKings. Tweeted me yesterday, his second ever tweet, won the $5 100 grand. Fantasy National member. Lots of people hitting me up, just had really, really good weeks. So the whole thing is, no one had to listen to me, and all of a sudden, people are winning.
They're winning most weeks.
Seems like a lot of people won last week.
I like to think. There was a lot of Bryson. I only know 2 Ann bets, and it seemed like there were a lot of Bryson bets.
Bryson's just a favorite among everybody. Either you really hate Bryson or really like Bryson. He's been so good. You gotta like him. I like how fired up he gets when he wins, too. Just the huge pumps.
A couple things. It was incredibly... how it took him 3 tries to get it right on 18 from every time he's in the perfect position in the fairway on 18, and the first 2 tries he couldn't seem to make it happen. And Stanley hit a putt. I don't remember if it was 16 or 17. You drop a bucket of balls there, you might hit one. You might hit one, Pat. This was downhill, sideways, 30 feet. It reminded me of the putt Keimer hit at the Players on the island green. On the island green to beat Furyk. That's the type of putt to me that came to my mind. It was just... That putt cost me money because at that point I had to hedge on Stanley a bit.
Well, the worst part, when I was watching on Saturday, very sneakily, Siwoo just started moving up and up and up the leaderboard. I was like, this is what's going to happen. They're all going to go into Sunday and Siwoo's going to run away with it. Turned out that didn't happen.
Okay, can we talk about someone who we haven't spoken about who played great?
Let me see. Well, we haven't talked about Niemann yet. We'll get to Niemann late because he's in the field this week.
See, I thought you were going to take the bite there and think I was going to say Tiger, and I was going to trick you and say Uline.
Oh, yeah, Uline. We'll get to him later, too.
Again, Tiger feels like you get in those tingles, man.
He led tee to green. He could not putt. And he's putting like me out there.
Yeah, he captained my pack this week. To me, we didn't have the show, but the concept was making the bet. The number was the same or stronger than Shinnecock on a layout that he absolutely loves. And he showed it. He showed it. He loves that place, whether it's been winning that tournament a handful of times, an incredible President's Cup there as well. He absolutely just rakes at Memorial. And what if he putted field average?
He would have won by like 3.
So what did he pulled like the Adam Scott, like the Hideki, right?
Essentially, yeah. He had a Luke List week where he just blew everyone out tee to green and then like lost 6. I think it was the worst putting. I don't have the number in front of me. I'd wager it was the worst putting performance of his career.
Shame. Speaking, I want to stay on him for a moment.
Okay. Well, can we give Tiger a big shout out? Solely because if Tiger wasn't in this field, Golf Channel would not have heard the complaints and not aired live golf on Sunday morning, which they ended up doing. It's all because of Tiger. All of it.
Whether he's winning or not, he makes golf great again. Or doing his part more than most. I hope for him, because so much of the offseason was about like the process. Hopefully he can stay in that mindset. Because I don't want him to feel... Like, I'm worried he's going to get, like, antsy if it doesn't, like, the dam doesn't crack at some point. Because he's been so close. He's been fantastic. Maybe I'm overrating it. And you go back to all the preview shows, I had no doubt he would win again if healthy. And I'm not saying I'm going to have money on him at Shinnecock. I currently don't. But the fact, him winning a major is in play. I'm not talking about getting Jack, but
I would look at Carnoustie over Shinnecock.
Yeah, absolutely. Carnoustie's in play off the tee. His wedges are in form. Someone like that's gonna have a field day there. Absolutely. Tiger, Sergio down the stretch at Carnoustie.
That'd be awesome, actually.
Like for the Magic, that would be.
Throw Spieth in there so everyone can root against Spieth.
Oh, you want to go there? I'm not ready to go there yet.
Okay, no. People were pissed with the pace of play yesterday between Bryson, especially Cantlay, who takes 25 minutes to hit every shot. I think Cantlay got put on the clock at one point.
Yeah, Cantlay was bad. And then you notice just because it was the Ann group ahead of them, and you're tracking Ann, and you're tracking, for people that had the Bryson wagers, you're seeing Cantlay, but you're tracking Ann, and they're the group ahead, and you're seeing how much farther they are ahead just by tracking the progress of Ann and Rose through the day. They were falling behind, and it made people angry. But Cantlay, to me, still going to be bad at the U.S. Open.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think you get him at? I don't even know what he is right now.
Lower than you think he should be worth.
It's like 50?
60, 66. But to me, I in our preview show, it was something I said, so I got to.
Oh yeah, he was your pre-year pick.
Well, like my pre-year,
you're
like
you're not tied to that.
No, my pre-year, not like because I feel like we both might have picked.
I picked Rory to the U.S. Open.
I probably just would have said Otto Dustin because it's the U.S. Open. But Tiger, let's just stick with it, and it all feels so real.
He needs to do something like when he played Valspar, and then all of a sudden he was second. Like the only fields that he's playing against are like the elite fields. Like just play one of these. Play this week. Like just play. Not necessarily this week because 3 weeks in a row.
See,
stuff,
that was my.
But just play one of these tournaments.
That was my take early in the year. But
how is that still not your take?
Well, because now he's playing so well that it's not that it's not my take. I feel like we're going to get away from that being realistic because we're probably one solid performance away from him being locked into WGC spots.
No, we're not. Like, he needs to have a top-end performance to get in there.
Well, he cratered a bit to 23rd. That really hurt him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if he could have kept
if he had played here and come inside like the top 5, he might get in. It's all about Bridgestone right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, as long as he gets to Firestone, everything's cool. And that's when? That's August.
It's after the British, in between.
It's PGA. August. It's when I was in Canton. I almost hit it up on my way home.
It's PGA Championship, British Open, Canadian Open, Firestone.
Yeah, then PGA. At least last year it was the week before.
It was. There might be something squeezed in between this year.
Last year it was the week before.
That's rough.
It was. I remember it.
Now, wasn't the Olympics last year? Wasn't that year? Remember everything
last
got moved
year wasn't
up?
the Olympics.
Anyway.
I'm almost certain it was. I don't want to...
This tournament next year, St. Jude, TPC Southwind, becomes what Bridgestone is this year. It's going to be like the WGC FedEx Cup. FedEx.
Is that
St.
why
Jude.
Dustin's here? Because I don't remember him being here in the past.
He's won this tournament before. This is the one where he WD'd after the first round like 2 years ago or 3 years ago and pissed everyone off.
Okay, so he doesn't normally play before majors.
I feel like he usually plays this event.
I
can actually tell you how many times he's played it, but go ahead.
I was thinking about it. Of in recent memory, outside of, it seems like really good players like Phil and Ricky have won the Scottish Open the week before the Open Championship. Who's winning before major championships?
Noren won the Scottish last year or the year before? No, Cabrera Bayo came back from like 20 down last year.
But Noren must have won it the year before because I'm pretty sure he's won one. But forget it, like, you know, who...
Jim Herman won the Houston before the Masters to get in that year. That was pretty fun.
And I guess Bryson last year won the week before the British to get...
Berger keeps winning the week before the U.S. Open because he's won this event 2 years in a row.
Right. So what's before the Masters again?
Shell Houston.
And who's been winning that? That was like Henley a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out if we need to even
consider the very top end guys.
Attention of the top.
I think we do. It's a weak field. And I guess we'll get into it here in a second. I just wanted to throw this out. He's played 16, 2014, 2013, 2012, and he played 2015, but he withdrew. He's come 5th, 24th, 10th, and 1st, along with the WD, Dustin Johnson, at TPC Southwind. U.S. Open stuff very quickly before we get into it, and we'll have full coverage of this all week, so don't worry about it. The finalized picks will come out Monday. I want to see the weather, too, because the weather could really... Because I really do like Rory, but if it gets super windy, like... Is Rory really going to win in a wind? Is Rory going to win in a windstorm? Probably not. But if it's like ideal conditions, he might be set up perfectly. So, but I have that parlay up him with the Jags. The only other two guys that I've bet so far, I bet Charles at 80 to 1, and I bet Keimer at 175 to 1.
Okay.
So those are my 3 wagers in. I'm actually waiting on the U.S. Open this time around. We don't even know who's going to be able to be in the field. Like, they're qualifying as we speak right now. And it might screw up the field this week, too.
Yeah, that's always exciting. That is always exciting.
This Columbus qualifying section is just stacked. I think 14 of them make it from there. Like, if you look at the leaderboard, it's like every good, like Adam Scott's qualifying.
Hold on a second. I'm amazed at... I always felt the U.S. Open, I mean, it's not the PGA Championship, but I'm amazed at the cutoff to get in. I mean, the field's enormous, is it not?
Yeah, it's 156.
So how are so many, like, how is it, and I get he's 63rd in the world, but how is a Patton Kizzire not in? He's won twice.
I think he must have been so low before that.
It's just incredible. Like, I never thought of the U.S. Open
as being so difficult to get into.
Yeah. And I know we can make I'm not talking about the shit with Stricker last year and the bullshit the USGA may actually make him qualify for a home state U.S. Open, but, you know, just in general. And I get Adam Scott's kind of fallen, but some of the names that were on the outsider that needed to qualify here really shook me. Like, wow, that guy's got to be playing today?
Well, I didn't realize Charles Howell got into the field as the last guy, like this week at Memorial.
Great.
He was number 60 in the world that got him in. So right now in Columbus...
So be careful when you're making those futures, because some of those guys listed might not even play.
Yeah. And I don't...
Is Peters in?
No, Peters didn't.
Hey, he's qualifying in Europe?
No, he didn't qualify in Europe. He missed. He's 50 to 1 to win right now. He's not in. And if you make that wager, that future wager, you do not get reimbursed.
Some books reimburse.
Most books will not reimburse you for a future bet that doesn't come through.
Well, here's the thing. It depends. I don't know when they flip a clock, but it depends when they turn it over. Because, yes, as a future, they consider it a future. Like, you betting a team to win the Super... Like, I get they don't get into the tournament, but as a future, they think all bets are live.
Yes.
It gets to a point where you're just narrowed in on the specific tournament, and if he doesn't play, like any weekly event, your bet will be refunded.
I believe that will probably be either Sunday night or Monday morning when the field is actually set.
No, I will say this out of precedence. Bet365
will give you way better A, odds, and B, longer each ways.
Oh, that's not where I was going. They'll give you... They got some leeway on if a guy's going to play or not on refunding.
Oh, do they?
Because someone you know might have had an Ollie bet to win the Masters. He didn't qualify. It was made long before because I thought he might actually win before the Masters and be good.
Yeah? Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't even get in. That was bet well in advance. What I would have deemed... I was worried because I thought that's a future. They gave it back.
On Bovada won't, because they didn't screw me.
Bovada, our friends.
I just didn't read the fine print good enough. I think it was 2 years ago. I bet Gary Woodland at like 200-1 to win the Open. They just didn't qualify.
Do you know what else Bovada won't?
Release their odds for this tournament?
Yeah, it's 2:00 on the East Coast, and I still don't have St. Jude odds yet.
Anyway, the guys that are qualifying right now, and this obviously is going to change by the time people hear, but the top of this leaderboard in Columbus is Werner, Sink, Knox, Tway, Keegan, Ollie, Levine, Streelman, Scott, Spawn, Danny Lee, Ben Silverman, your buddy.
Yeah. Well, to tease the cock, because we'll be doing a preview on Wednesday.
Coming out on Thursday.
It'll be interesting.
All right.
I've made a couple bets, but we'll save them.
Okay. So, yeah, for me, I have that Rory parlay. So, unless you parlay Rory up, you're not going to get the 40-1 that I have on him. But Charles at 80, who is Anderkurst this week. So, you always want to play the guys coming off the Anderkurst, like Cantlay last week. The week after the Anderkurst always plays well.
Hideki might win the U.S. Open?
Potentially. Charles or Hideki, one of the two.
I've got just 3 bets. No shocker. Noren, Fleetwood, both assuming that they can win their first time in North America, just be a major championship, not a big ask.
Fleetwood was there last year when I had the big outright on him.
Huge outright last year. Huge. And one more. I'm a sucker for it. Finau. And I guess that could take us to this week.
Finau's brother might qualify.
Really?
Yeah, he's in the running in the Portland qualifying section.
Cool.
All right, so this week we are at TPC Southwind. Do you know what people don't realize about TPC Southwind, Jeff?
I don't know. Sorry.
Most balls in the water of any course on tour by a substantial margin.
Wouldn't have guessed that.
I know. No one ever thinks about it.
Wouldn't have guessed it.
Since 2003, over 5,000 balls in the water. It's like 1,000 more than Sawgrass.
Yeah. Where would Doral have ranked?
Oh, I don't know. Probably pretty high.
Blue Monster, right? It would have been up there.
Yeah, there's water everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a tough course. The winning, like Berger's won 2 years in a row. He wins at like -11, -10. Guys are like, it's a lot like Sawgrass in the sense that like there are so many just giant numbers lurking for you that anyone can blow up at any time. Hell, the biggest outright I would have ever won in terms of odds would have been Robert Garrigus to win this tournament like 5 years ago. 3-stroke lead on 18, melted down. And Lee Westwood won, who I did not have. And Robert Carlson came second for the second straight year. But yeah, there's trouble everywhere here. You want to look at approach. You want to look at off the tee stuff approach. Among the top 10 finishers over the past 10 years, approach has been almost 3 times more like highly rated in terms of strokes gained than off the tee. So you want guys who can putt, guys who can hit irons. It's a lot like last week, to tell you the truth, in terms of the style of player that you're looking for.
Where did Bryson finish in the field in putting last week?
I believe he was right around average. Wow. Like he wasn't, I think he was positive, but he wasn't great by any means. Let's see, Phil played. Click on Phil. I'll find this out for you. Fantasy National. Everything you want. Like looking at Memorial stats from last week. What were we going to say about Bryson?
Well, it just seemed like everyone that's been like, it's easy to say whoever like putts to win seems to win because we've been on such an exceptional run of that lately, whether it be Webb or Rose or and I'm just wondering where Bryson.
Bryson finished 5th in the field actually, 5.5 strokes gained putting.
You're not gonna like it doesn't even seem like.
By the way, to use strokes gained putting as like a predictive metric of something that you want to put into it, I'll give you a million guesses. Who do you think the top 5 in putting last week were at Memorial? Who do you think led the field in putting at Memorial? Sorry, you're wrong. It's Patrick Rodgers. Patrick Rodgers, J.B. Holmes, Julian Surrey, Neiman, and Bryson DeChambeau. So
is this a stupid stat? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, those guys aren't good putters. None of them. Not one of the 5. Maybe Neiman is. I need to see a longer sample. But generally speaking, no. Like these guys are not good putters, yet they were the top 5 in the field. It's a hard thing to track week to week.
And Tiger, who we talked about before, I don't want to hear the number because it'll just hurt. But
minus 7.7 strokes gained putting.
Point being is putting for the most part this year statistically has been incredibly strong for him.
Yep.
And the week he was in position to have hole after hole birdie opportunities from inside 15 feet, some of them much shorter, he wasn't able to convert. So yeah, there's such a fine line, and that is sort of why everyone still kind of hopes that George Spieth wins, and that's why he's still sort of placed so high when we do odds boards that he's in, because
Well, I mean,
you flip one finger
and then all of a sudden
and
it's
all of
working.
a sudden he's going to win by 6 strokes because everything will drop from the 14 feet.
Yeah.
Sorry, he'll start hitting the 20-footers, and the 4-footers will start going in for him as well.
Well, he's still hitting the 20-footers. It's those pesky 4-footers. So
He was at sorry, because before we actually get into the tournament, he was at his worst. You might not have seen much of it. He was at his worst, and he only got 2 days of it. And I'm not talking about the scores. I'm talking about the self-talk.
Oh, good.
And like literally embarrassing. Even where our Rouslin made a comment on Twitter that Jordan Spieth, and he's like a super Spieth fan. He's like, Spieth's been bad, but he's like no Bubba. Huh? That'd be like you going home to your wife after you put on 15 pounds and being like, I've put on a few, honey, but I'm not as fat as Fienberg. Like, get out of town. You just put him on, I said on Twitter, you just put him on the Mount Rushmore of on-course, like, bitches. And Bubba and Spieth, they do great stuff off the course, and they're, like, humanitarian stuff that is not even, you can mention for days. I'm strictly talking about on-course behavior. But I'm sure he got a free pass.
Hatton never gets one.
Wouldn't.
Rahm never gets it. That's what people always talk about Rahm.
Yeah.
I think, remember I was talking about like Dustin US Open? I think Rahm might win.
Always mud, always something. Never a spike mark or something. Jordan's never hit a bad shot.
You know who never complains? Brant Snedeker. He's trying to get on and off the course in like an hour and 15 minutes and he'll be fine.
Anyways, I wanted to get into my Spieth talk before we actually started.
The favorites at the St. Jude Classic, and the big thing will be you have to monitor this field all the way up until Wednesday because guys are, if they qualify for the U.S. Open and they're in this field, and the only reason that they were in this field was to finish high enough to qualify for the U.S. Open. Like if Scott ends up qualifying, he might pull out of this. There's a lot of guys like that. So just be on the lookout.
And that happens every year.
Absolutely. We don't know who it's going to be right now, and it's something that's probably going to trickle out over the day. Like we already, since the field was released, Spawn, Lovemark, Hostler, and 2 others withdrew, and then like Kiradesh got in the field because of it. But we might see more as the days go along, so just be cognizant of that. Odds for this tournament. DJ's here. He's number 1. He's 7-1. Brooks is right behind him at 9-1. Then we have Phil Mickelson at 14, Stenson at 16, and those are your big 4 in this field before you get into like Finau, Scott, Ben-An, Horschel, who's 28-1. Always fun with him. Daniel Berger, 2-time champ, and then it's like Charles at 30, and then we'll get into the other guys in a sec. But I don't know, man. Of this top group, I kind of like Stenson the best.
Bodog, Bovada put their odds out.
Oh, sweet.
Just
We're not talking about those, though.
Of this field, like I said, when trying to figure it out, like last year, how did Brooks finish here? Do you remember?
I thought he was second, but that could have been 2 years ago. Brooks.
Because I'm sort of trying to think what finish he had here going before he went on and dominated the U.S. Open.
Last year he was 37th.
Yeah.
But 2 years before that, second and third.
Yeah. Yeah, because Berger beat him and Phil in a really tight duel. Here's the thing. I actually think Phil might be the guy here.
I was looking at that.
I never bet Phil, and last year this was my low moment of the year because I wanted a guy at the top hat, and I took Phil instead of Berger, who I'm such a Berger guy, and we can get into, horse for course versus his horrible form. And then Berger won, and Phil did his hardest not to win last year. This was like his total birdie masterpiece, but some insane huge numbers here.
This is the tournament last year when he saw himself in the lead at the turn and melted down.
Yes.
Because he wasn't used to seeing himself at the top of the leaderboard.
Also, now it's all coming back to me. Do you know why I bet him? The deciding factor and why I wanted to bet him here last year?
Because Cuss said he couldn't win?
No. Because this was like the days leading into last year, or the week leading into it, is when he said he wasn't going to the U.S. Open.
Oh, yes, that's right.
because of his daughter's graduation.
And if you talk to Tim, there's going to be a 30 for 30 years from now about how the one that got away.
No, I'm the one that says, like, Golf Channel does the doc, and they'll include him not playing last year.
As if he was ever going to win.
Like, when his form was horrible, as if he would have even sniffed Brooks and Fleetwood and
Thomas.
JT, whoever was rolling it last year. It'll be part of, like, the missed ones. I still believe if if last year was at Pebble or a place that suited him, there's no doubt in my mind he would have been there. But I thought, so yes, him winning last year, because it would have been he wins FedEx and then he doesn't even go to the U.S. Open. That's why it would have been in the documentary.
This is correct. But he didn't, because he melted down against Daniel Berger and Rafa and Charles. And him.
If you're actually making me pick from the top, I think I would pick Phil.
Let me ask you this. Here's why I say Stenson, because I bet Stenson last week too. I thought he'd been playing a little bit better. Past 5 starts, what do you think the results for Stenson have been?
They've been fantastic.
13th last week, 23rd at the Players, 5th at the Masters, 6th at the Shell, 4th at API. Like, the guy is real close.
I was even going to bring up API because I didn't even think it was in the last 5. But he's been real close he doesn't tee it up much.
No, and this is one of the few courses where he's gaining a bunch of strokes off the tee, even using the 3-wood. But if you hit a lot of fairways here, it's going to be a whole lot easier.
Yep. A lot of landmines here, which was sort of kind of worked against Phil, and why sometimes on a layout you might not think it's good for Brooks, but he plays really well here.
He plays really well at these shorter courses. Look, listen, he almost won freaking
the Players.
No,
sorry, he had some great golf at the Players. Another course that doesn't
he
really
had
suit
the
him.
Albatross at the Players, which really vaulted him up. He had that final day, but 2 weeks ago at Fort Worth, he was great.
We were on him.
Yeah, and he was great. That's a super short, like, tight course. So, something to look at. I don't know if I'm going to end up pulling the trigger on Stenson, but I think at 16-1 of the top 4, he's the one I like the best. Next level: Finau, Scott, Ann, Horschel, Berger, and then Charles at 30. Who you want to talk about drives making you big numbers? That's what happened to Charles here last year. He was like winning, triple bogey because he hit 8 million yards off, like to the right off the tee, and he was just finished. From this, I don't know, like, if people want to know why Horschel's 28-1, because he has the second best, like, year-to-year consistency at this course outside of Phil. I did go looking through his stats, though, and all of his, like, top-end performances, you can't really judge the Zurich because it's a weird team event, the one that he won with Piercy, but, like, everything is all putting. Like, he can't hit his approaches. He's just putting the lights out right now, which, again, could flip.
Not for me. In this range, I could be a sucker for Finau.
I would say he's probably my favorite. Charles also Anderkirk this week.
So who's your favorite?
I think I probably like Finau the best too, but I don't know if I want to touch anyone in this range either.
Yeah, but he's that elite player that... See, I get suckered into this mindset.
We're going to call him an elite player?
No. I roll that back. He's like that in this field, he's that like very good player who this is still and would still be. If I'm going to bet an elite, because now I'm calling him elite again. These events before majors, I like betting on guys who I consider to have really high ceilings. I take that elite back.
So second tier guys that haven't broke through yet.
Who this win would still be their biggest win of their career.
Yes.
I apologize that it took me so long to say. But high ceiling guys who I believe can win big tournaments in the coming years, this at the moment, because all he's won is like a Puerto Rico swing season.
Yeah, it was it was an opposite event to like a WGC.
Yeah.
So
opposite
of those guys, would you throw Ben Ann into that conversation? Because he won like the European players. Like the guy has real wins.
It would be big in the sense it's his first North American win or USA PGA win, and that's big regardless. But I would still argue that the BMW is a much bigger tournament win and a cash prize than this sucker.
So of the guys that you're talking about that would kind of qualify for being those breakthrough players, you have Finau at 28, Neiman at 35, Uline at 40, List at 50, and then there's one other guy at 60. The Rat.
Woo!
Rat's the late add to the field.
I gotta bet it, right?
I already bet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's playing a lot of golf.
That he is.
But I'm not thinking he's going to win next week, so I don't care about the lot of golf. I want it to peak on Sunday this week.
Played really well last week at Memorial.
Incredibly consistent.
Do you think that he's skipping the Euro event because it's a clocked event and he just doesn't have good enough stamina to get it going?
We can do a minute
We'll
on
do that at the end then.
I'm very intrigued to observe some of that. No, no, he's not afraid of a gimmick show.
Yeah, but one where you have to play speed golf, so you have to run down the doors.
They're actually. I just thought they're on a shot clock when they get to the.
Oh no, I see. I have no idea how the rules work. I thought it was overall time.
Maybe Paul can.
You want to sprint up to the ball and go hit it. I could be way off on that.
I thought it's just once they're over the ball, they're on a clock. I didn't think you actually have to run to the ball.
Oh, I assumed you had to run to the ball.
That is speed golf.
The faster you can play, the better.
There's no way that's the case.
If that's the case, then Kiradesh wasn't playing.
Because the guys can get hurt that way. Running. Finau after the part 3.
Guys could get hurt, I suppose.
I got distracted. Uline also butters my cup, I think.
5th, 21st, 5th, last 3 starts.
He's been playing fantastic. I probably bug you about him a little less than I bug you about Ollie, but he's actually really coming on.
He's the one who's closer to winning. I'll give you that much. He's gained strokes and approach past 3 events and incrementally got better in each of those tournaments. That's always a positive sign.
The only thing I feel like it's just one insanely low round that sort of catapults his total finish. If I'm trying to pick a hole in what he's
at Wells Fargo, that happened to him. He had the round of the day Saturday and then just couldn't get there on Sunday.
Speaking of Uline, at least 2 times during the Memorial, they cut away to show the milkshake bar, and Uline was hanging out there.
Drinking everyone's milkshake?
Likes his milkshakes. Don't blame him.
Like he's in There Will Be Blood?
No, I have no idea, but they'd always just cut away to show... they made it like this milkshake man at the Memorials, like some big bartender. Like he's got milkshake moves.
Okay, I have no idea what you're talking about. I skipped the week.
There'd be rain delays, and they'd just show the
So you're saying milkshake bar. So is it like in Clockwork Orange at the beginning where they're all in the milk bar just sitting around being real creepy?
Sorry.
And you're getting
you lost me in the sense that maybe because you didn't see any of it this week and we didn't talk last week, you forget that the milkshakes at the Memorial make up 8% of the total coverage.
Yes, yeah, that did not register with me.
Every time there's an announcer, every announcing pairing at least once per their shift talking about the milkshakes. Yeah, it's a
thing.
It's a thing. Apparently they have the best milkshakes.
It's a bold claim. That sounds like a cussed claim. Best milkshakes.
And the guy, their head milkshake bartenders actually has skill.
Okay.
Apparently.
All right. Good to know.
That's
we got to talk about Neiman.
125 last week. We're down to. Does it feel like Aaron Wise?
It does feel like Aaron Wise.
You don't if we've been betting him or you've been riding it.
Am I an idiot for not betting him this week? Because I kind of want to.
I had 100-1 ticket last week, and I feel less inclined than you do, but I could easily be pushed.
It's not even like he's doing it with smoke and mirrors. The only 2 times that he's missed the cut, he couldn't chip and couldn't putt. It's not like the tee to green was bad. That has been consistent every single week. And we've seen him do it at a longer course like Byron Nelson. We saw him do it at Memorial last week. We saw him do it at Fort Worth. Or Valero. He had a bad Byron Nelson.
Here's the thing. Last week, I think he went off at 100. So let's work from that number. And just the cutoff, the field being exponentially weaker, what would it be? Without the super height, that gets cut to 60 anyway.
So what you're saying is that if we had this field, but last week, yeah, he probably would have been 60.
Then let's go. Let's go.
Put a star next to that.
I haven't put it in yet, but then based on that, I'm much more inclined to swallow the number.
In my column up on DKPlaybook.com, I wrote up Keegan Bradley.
He's always around. He's qualifying.
Since the U.S. Open last year, so since then, he's made 23 of 25 cuts. And here was the fun one. He's gained strokes putting in 3 of his past 17 events, and all 3 came on Bermuda. We're back on Bermuda this week. But I don't know what happens to him. Like, I'm going to have to wait to see if he actually plays, if he qualifies, what happens. Because he is one of the few. There's him, Kizzire, and Scott that are all in the 61 to 70 range in the world rankings that a good performance here would get them in. Potentially, like a top 5 or something like that. So, if he doesn't qualify, he has extra incentive to win. But 40 to 1 seems a bit steep, I feel. Especially when Luke List is number.
I see
Luke,
how.
Luke List is 50. He was just, it opened up. I was like, oh, 50. Bet. After missing Bryce, I'm not missing Luke List.
Yeah, and I don't know if you mentioned him. I think you stopped after a couple names.
No, he was one of them. I mentioned him and Barton Rat with the same.
Yeah, he absolutely, with a star, fits into the profile of type of player I kind of look to in these events where the field is weaker. But their incentive to me is still incredibly high. Well, I don't know. It's easy to convince yourself that the elite players are like trying to work on something that like suits Shinnecock. If any of them get on a heater, they're playing for that $900,000.
Well, with List too, when you look at the courses that he's done the best on so far this year, Heritage, Honda, short courses that are par 70s. And this is another one, and now we're back on Bermuda again. So I'm in. I'm always in, but I'm in.
I made the case last week that List was a great bet because I believe in his ceiling. And when we can get him at the number like it was last week, 100, 125 to 1, to me, if it clicks, he can beat any field. That being said, it's when he gets into that like 28, 33, 25 range, it's like, ugh, it's really annoying. But there are enough good players here that can keep pushing back from that range into like 50, 55, and I can get on board with that.
And he's cooled off a bit too. He's not having he doesn't have like the thirds and the seconds. He's now like 24th and stuff like that. He's still good.
Yeah,
but
I see him high on every scroll, and by scroll I mean like like on the bottom to top leaderboard.
So from this like middle tier of guys. The only ones I was really looking at, like I bet List and I bet Appy Burnrat. The only ones I really gave some looks to, like I want to see what happens with Tway at 90. He's been playing really well.
Do you know he's the longest driver on tour?
I thought Mullenix was.
No.
I know he was up there. Chappell, 60 to 1 seems deep, but he hasn't been good. Knox, if he could ever putt, this is a perfect course for him. He's in those qualifying sectionals too.
Any love to Patrick Rodgers?
No, not really. Considering I think I kind of stated the only reason he was any good last week is he putted the lights out.
You go to your boy Austin Cook, big number, weak field.
He just hasn't been playing all that well. Like he's making cuts, but he's doing the Ollie. He makes the cut and comes 60th every week. I'd like to see some higher end finishes. But you're also now diving below the 100 to 1 range where I was not ready to go yet.
Sorry.
It's in that middle. Like Lowry, Piercy, Kirk is interesting.
Starred.
You got Kirk starred?
Yeah, just because he's been playing well and he's a form guy.
It feels like he's going to win at some point this year.
He doesn't play well. He will not win out of nowhere. That is an impossibility. He rides form. And I don't know, he had a bad day he got in on the number, right? Then played pretty well.
This week he made the cut this weekend, so yeah, he was 52nd.
I just know there was some joke, like I don't know, he was making a joke about himself.
52nd last week, 11th at Fort Worth, 46th at the Players, 8th at Valero. And he's not doing it with the putter, I'll tell you that much. He's doing it off the tee and with his irons, and that's what you're looking for here. I think he's an interesting play at 80. Schniederjans? Your boy Harris English, former winner of this event?
What about my boy Ollie? Or we're still too far, sorry.
We haven't hit the 100 to 1 range yet.
Oh, well, depends what book you're looking at.
He's 100 to 1 on Bet365.
Yeah, and that's the one we're looking at. No. Okay. I gotta just... One more guy. Well, I make notes, and then I gotta flip the page, because I don't want to say another long shot guy, but it would have wasted less time if I actually knew what his Bet365 number was. But Scott Piercy?
Piercy's 80. It's a Scott Piercy type of event. Score on par fours, hit your irons.
Who do you like more, Piercy or Kirk?
Probably Kirk, right? I can't get Piercy right ever. Every week that I'm all in on Piercy, he misses the cut. Every week I'm all out. He either wins or comes in second. Like it's just like, come on, man, get it together. You know who's becoming the king of the first round? Abraham Answer. I'm just looking at his results. It seems like he's at the top of the leaderboard every week for like day one. 57th, 52nd, 42nd, miscut, 58th. It's like Keith Mitchell. He's also in this field. All right, let's talk about the longer guys since all your guys are like down in that range.
Sorry. There's one guy down here that really caught my eye being so high. And I don't know if the layout just doesn't work for him, but Grayson.
Yeah, I mean, if you say something like Braden Thornberry's 90-1, that's all based on last year. Like 100% based on last year.
Oh, is this the one where he just
came fourth?
Came fourth.
So then you have Grayson.
Was he even in DK last year?
I don't remember.
Will Appy Barnrat be in DK?
Yeah, because it hadn't come out as of the time of like the field switches. So I assume that he'll be in there, but I don't know because the pricing hasn't come out yet. Guys that I'm looking at from beyond 100-1. Joel Donovan, who's just been really lights out with the irons recently. He is 100-1. Ben Crane, 100-1. I'm already in on. So I'm in on those two guys, although Donovan might qualify. He was up near the top of that like leaderboard for the U.S. Open, so he might end up withdrawing. But both each ways on them. The only other one I've played so far, Troy Merritt, 175-1. You know who can putt when he gets hot? Troy Merritt. And he's actually like not consistent, but playing a lot better tee to green. 175 in this field seems really strange, considering if Byron Nelson like 3 weeks ago, I think we got him at like 65. That was his number. This field's seemingly weaker. Now he's 175? Just seems strange to me, is all I'll say. So I jumped on it. And you like Ollie, of course?
No. I mean, he's playing horrible, but this isn't a strong number. But what's the point in going back, like, making comparables to... Like, these are the numbers we used to get with Ollie in, like, really strong fields. But I don't even think those are fair to compare to at this point, because he's been so not right.
What about Putnam? Remember everyone just, like, jumped off Putnam the week that like he was like super chalky. He actually played well the following week at Fort Worth. I think he's interesting. Maybe not as an outright, but maybe he's like a top 10 or something like that. First round leader type guy.
Corey Connors.
Your boy Corey Connors? Hey, if he's in like 13th place, he'll be low Canadian. He'll look like he'll be second on the TSN leaderboard. That'll be nice. Hoagie, good week. Got nothing from down here? Garrigus, 275.
No, I said...
redemption story for Garrigus?
I brought up Grayson Murray. I brought up Austin Cook.
I want nothing to do with Cook. I mean, I guess Grayson can hit his driver here, but I don't know, man.
How bad has James Hahn's irons been?
Ooh, I can tell you. Jimmy Hahn, he's also in that qualifying right now. Jimmy Hahn has lost strokes with his irons in 4 of his past 5 tournaments, and he has missed 5 consecutive cuts, which is usually the trend before James Hahn wins. So that's always nice to know.
Didn't Peterson quit? Or not quit, but didn't he...
John Peterson?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Oh, you know what we didn't mention? Bud Colley got in like a serious car accident.
Yeah.
Apparently he's going to be okay. It's bad news.
Who's the one from LSU that is going to go sell real estate?
That's John Peterson. I don't think that may have just been a joke.
No, I'm pretty sure that was real.
Well, he's in the field this week, so I don't think he's in Memphis selling houses.
I'm pretty sure it was real. Maybe he got an exemption or something.
Werner?
He popped at the Players a bit, and then he went to... Where did he go to Wentworth?
I think he did. I don't know what he did there, but he's
did very much.
He's in this qualifying now, and he's in like first place in this qualifying.
So he'll withdraw.
No, he might just try to take a shot at it. He's 175. I'm very uninspired by like the bottom end of this field. Like
David Hearn?
Your boy? You just bet every Canadian from down here?
Well, because Patton Kizzire is 250-1.
That's strange.
It's pretty big. He must be playing horribly. I mean, I know I talked about him earlier, how I'm amazed how he's not in the U.S. Open, having won twice, but that's pretty low.
Sink was the first round leader last year. Guy who just hits a ton of greens in regulation. CT Pan hits a ton of greens in regulation. These are smallish greens, narrow fairways, easy to scramble. Some of those. Where's Chesson Hadley this week?
Great point.
Why can't we get a Chesson at a 30?
Great question. You think there'd be Bojangles there to entice him?
Anyway, let's get to the picks then.
Yeah, I'm just getting
Getting it ready. For me, from the picks so far, and I'll update this on my Facebook page on Wednesday once I know some of the withdraws. I bet you I'll end up having Neiman on it by the time it comes. But as of right now, I got List at 50 with an each way, Kiradesh at 60 with an each way, Dahmen, Crane at 100 with an each way, and Troy Merritt 175 to 1 with an each way. I don't know how much I really want to invest this week, to tell you the truth. Maybe if I don't invest, maybe I'll try to hit someone live, because I do like Stenson, I do like Neiman, I do like Uline, like you mentioned, and I don't know where I want to come down on those guys yet. I have to think about it some more. You?
I'm gonna bet Finau.
Okay.
Finau, Uline, List, Barnrat, Chris Kirk.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. Wow.
One and done. Who'd you use?
Neiman could be interesting though.
Yeah. Who'd you use in the one and done last week?
Stenson.
So did I. Oh, that doesn't work then.
I guess that works perfectly, so you don't even have to worry about it. Other than we can't use them.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't documented.
And you would have had Brooks the week before, so.
Neiman.
Who do you want to take as a one and done? Neiman?
I was just thinking that, but I have first pick here.
Yep.
It's one of those where I wouldn't mind not having first pick, because I'll tell you right now, I'm kind of being weird. I'm deciding between Uline and Barnrat.
Okay.
Give me Uline.
All right. For the purposes of the show, I'll take Phil.
Yeah, that should play well.
See how he does. Probably finds a lot of water. And cusses Charles Schwartzel. Looking good for the rebound next week.
Is Neiman worth double Stenson? Might be though, right?
Maybe.
Like
He's just playing so great.
So Stenson though.
True. Euro.
Oh yeah. What do we know? Anything?
I know it's a gimmick Euro event. You're betting 100% on picking the winner, so I just assume you know who's going to win.
Yeah, but I don't know the format. If they actually got to run to the balls, kind of a big concept changer.
The only thing that I saw was that Bert. What is it, Paul?
So basically, any group has to approach. The first guy in the group has 50 seconds from the time that they get to the tee box to take his first shot. The other guys in the group have 40 seconds from the time that guy hits his shot. They think it's going to take about 45 minutes off of the average 18 holes.
So they're not running.
So
that's out of it.
shot clock, you have 40 seconds per shot.
Once you approach the ball, or once the first guy's approach.
I think like once
And
the guy
it
hits
seems
you-
like...
Well, he's reading it. Why don't you let him
Yeah.
talk?
Oh, I thought he was... Yeah.
I'm done.
I missed the whole last part of what you said.
Like, I think you have 40 seconds. Basically, one guy hits, and then you have 40 seconds from the point that guy hits for like the next.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it sounds like you would have to, unless they're like scattered out through the fairway.
Yeah,
Is that what they're doing?
What do you
Like
mean
if they're all
scout?
standing, if they're all standing on the tee box, and then as soon as he hits, you have 40 seconds to hit the next shot. You would have to sprint to the ball to go catch up to it. He's hitting a three.
No, he's saying there's three guys in the group. You tee off, and then I have 40 seconds once you've teed off, not to run to the next shot.
To do what?
The
To
next
hit,
guy
to hit
in
the
the
ball.
group to hit. No. Like for guy number 2 in the group to tee off, he has 40 seconds, is what he's saying. The first guy to go has a little more time.
Oh, I thought they were playing in teams. That's why I got that screwed up. I thought there was like 3 players
Paul,
per team.
I'm right, right?
you're right.
Okay. And
Nobody's running up and down.
yes, and
I want to see people run.
and it makes sense in the sense that even from the second shot, like let's say, I'm 170 yards to the pin, you're 164, you should be doing some kind of preparing, like in any golf, even in amateur, while the guy in your group is hitting. So that's why the second guy in the group, the second and third guy, have a little less time than the first guy
Okay,
when it's their turn.
I got you. Dean, 2 timeouts.
That's awesome.
Sig break. Whoa.
Who can call the timeout?
The Burmista lady, 14 to 1 is your favorite. Too bad Cam's not here. He'd be all over Horsey.
This is really weak. It seems like anyone worth the salt is either trying to qualify for the U.S. Open or not, or certainly not playing in a gimmick event in. Where are they? How about that?
Austria? I mean, if it's in Austria and Bern didn't even decide to show up, you got some real problems here.
What about the Bedusenhout at 50-1?
I don't know who, like, 90% of these people are, for one thing.
I was looking for Beer Garden.
EVR is the second favorite at 18. Eric Van Rooyen. Matthias Schwab is the Austrian who's like the high-ranked amateur, right? Or was the high-ranked amateur?
I don't know. Like, I'm tempted to say, I don't know, Soren Kelton, but I don't know if he's a historically, like, slow player, that this is, I don't know.
I'm not going to bet this. How about that? At least until I actually learn what all of the rules are. And even then, I'd have to go research who these guys are, and I don't want to do that. You okay?
It would be funny if it was a running event, because Miguel Angel Jimenez is in it, but he's got the super stretches.
You know one guy we didn't talk about for this event? Disaster at Memorial. Keith Mitchell.
Oh. I was going to say Bo Hostler.
Bo Hostler withdrew. So don't bet him.
You got another bachelor party.
I do. That's where I'm going this weekend. I have another bachelor party in Montreal. Which I had a great time in Moncton, mind you. But I've been on 2 in Montreal. Top notch.
I think Montreal is the best place. I don't want to say the world, because I'm sure like there's Austria. I think Montreal, I'll say this then. I think Montreal is a better bachelor party than Vegas.
The only other one that I've heard is comparable with those two is New Orleans. Everyone I know who's gone to New Orleans, I haven't been to one there, but everyone says it's a great time.
Much of the same reason I would pick Montreal is probably could not be beaten in New Orleans. And I'll say this, the disclaimer that the fact that we're kind of close to Montreal so
helps. It's less than an hour
It's a
flight.
triple bonus, like, in that respect. But trying to, like, put this in the least incriminating way possible, which is already incredibly incriminating. But what I love about Montreal is kind of twofold. Anything you want to happen in a show-wise or is so possible at like 8% of the cost it would cost you in Vegas.
Agreed.
And the girls, they might be prettier. Or they might have a missing tooth. There's kind of like no in between. At least like in Vegas, you don't get the bottom end that you can find in Montreal. But my favorite reason I love Montreal is there's no state troopers, We don't have those here. Those straight brim cap cops that can ruin your life for something being in your pocket.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
In Vegas or in these other... okay, have a nice day.
Yeah. Be on your way.
Like, as a guy in his mid-30s or lower-end mid-30s, my life wouldn't be ruined like that might happen in Vegas or somewhere else. Where you have those flat-brim police officers.
Yeah, the rules could be enforced a lot more in Vegas, potentially. If they are enforced on you, it's real bad news.
But even if
and Montreal just no one cares.
But if they are enforced in Montreal, you still would probably be fine.
Oh, yeah. What are you going to do? It's Montreal.
That's kind of
they throw you in French jail where you just you spend a night, you have a cigarette, you get to go.
So I love Montreal.
Well, there's also the whole French side of everything in Montreal that just it makes it despite being like it's like a 5-hour drive from where we're sitting right now, it seems like a totally different planet.
Oh,
which is nice, and the Grand Prix is going on that weekend too.
Should be
so hopping. I can hang out with my man Lewis Hamilton at the clubs after.
Now, Vegas is great, the communal factor of, like, just meeting in the, like, casino or just having that, like, central hub of a place to kind of go.
Sure, but I don't think that Montreal is all that dissimilar. Everything's right around each other in Montreal. Like, there's only one spot you're really sticking to.
In Vegas, it really is, like, right on top of each other.
It takes a while to walk, man. You gotta start, like, going up the stairs and across the catwalk. Like, it can take a while to walk some places. And you can't, like, get a cab. Because by the time you wait for a cab in Vegas to, like, get around and people pulling out and on the strip, there's always stuff going on. You're just better off walking.
Yeah.
That's not really a thing in Montreal. Just get a cab and just be wherever you need to be.
And I'm also not really, like, inclined to want to do Vegas, like, off the beaten path.
Yeah. I think I've been outside of the strip being in Vegas like once. And when Jonah Carey knew a place off the strip, we were doing a draft one time. He's like, "We got to go here," and it was excellent.
No,
but I don't think by myself I'd be like, "Yeah, let's not go to the uppity places. Let's go to the Gabe and Cam would know the off-track places, and from their stories, I don't think I want to go there.
I don't want to stay at the hotel that still has like wooden floors that have never been changed.
The one that Cam said costs $14 a night.
I don't want to. Oh. Yeah, listen, and I did my bachelor party in Niagara, which I think they have the best strip club in Canada for sure. Also really close, but I have a very exorbitant buddy who was getting married like 2 weeks after, and we're all kind of like the same friends, and he was doing Vegas, so it was kind of like...
You got to pick somewhere else.
Yeah, or not even like, what's the point? Like, I'm not making my butt, like, it's the same group of guys. Like, we're not...
Let's not pay twice.
Yeah, sort of, and like, this guy's dad is like, you know, buying a boot, like doing like going above and beyond. Like I can't compete with like let's spend the money on
yeah,
this
well,
one.
no. If you have the two friends that are going, the one that is very okay with paying for everything, you send him to Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know where we are, but I love Montreal. So you're doing a Montreal, and you got all your U.S. Open shit next week. So you're gonna be and you're already tired.
Yeah. Didn't think this is how it would shake down. That I would go bachelor party, 3 weeks in a row, and then have U.S. Open squeezed in between it. But here we are. So I'm going to power through. Just already talking to you has given me good energy.
Good.
I had none of it earlier.
And on Thursday, we're going to be teasing the cock.
That's right. At least the field will be set by then.
Yeah.
And I'll have the mega DraftKings show. It won't be quite...
Won't we have tea times? When do you get tea times for that?
Because the field won't actually be set, because guys from this field could
But this is where they like to get silly, like they had the fat group.
Yeah. And then Shane Lowry gets all mad.
Yeah. They like to do some, they like to, all sorts of things.
If you could see one threesome for the U.S. Open that they would just announce.
Oh, I thought you meant final pairing.
No, just for Thursday. For Thursday, Friday action, there are 3 guys you want to see play together. Who would they be?
I don't know. I kind of worry. I don't want guys I like sort of getting caught up in the hoopla.
How about Tiger, Burn Rat, and Hatton? There's a group.
You have the right idea.
Like I feel like that's a fun group. Because Tiger will be all serious. Hatton will be yelling at himself and patrons, freaking out. Burn Rat will be smoking cigs the entire time. You know John Daly's in this field this week?
Get out of here.
Yeah, sponsor invite. I think he got cut off from the betting list because he's probably like 3,000 to 1. But is there any downside ever to inviting Daly to your golf tournament? How is he a sponsor exemption every week?
Some places don't have that free spirit.
He's in the Canadian Open every year, isn't he? I feel like they always give him an invite.
If he wants it, I'm sure.
Because there are certain places he pops up every single year.
Yeah, like the Hooters at the Masters Park, parking lot.
His three scheduled events are at the Hooters at the Masters, British Open PGA Championship. Then we'll work it out from there. Yeah. All right, that'll do it. Pat Mayo Experience, St. Jude Classic. Won't be the St. Jude Classic next year. WGC St. Jude, I guess is what it'll be called. Watch out for the water, is all I'll say. Geoff Fienberg, follow him on Twitter at GFienberg17. For my finalized picks, you can find those on Wednesday on my Facebook page, facebook.com/ThePME. Give the episode a like, goes a long way. Rate and review the podcast. Always have to say that. Rick Gaiman tomorrow on the DraftKings St. Jude show, and then we're going to jump right into U.S. Open stuff. I got a World Cup preview coming out too, which is hard for me because I really dislike soccer. But hey, if we can find some winners, we'll find some winners there. And since I will be in Montreal for the Grand Prix, if anyone has like F1 long shots for me, you hit me up with an F1 long shot. I'd like to cash a bet while I'm there. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!